Welcome to Go Home Heat, a sports entertainment podcast.
Yes.
We have Justin here with me, and
Hola.
This is KP, and we are going to run through the week that was in WWE Entertainment, Raw and Smackdown wise. The omnipresent Drew McIntyre begins with a highlight package of him, and then they set up the main event WWE title match between Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. And the Drew promo was kind of the similar stuff that he's been doing.
Oh, yeah.
All that was fine.
It was,
whatever.
then the Miz and Morrison. Randy comes out, and Randy hits the Titantron and says, hey, I'm the best.
Correct. Which, who thought he would have thought that?
Uh-huh.
And then we get the fun stuff as Miz and Morrison come rolling out and let us know that they are the present and future, and that the Miz says change is coming, and it may be coming tonight. Bray Wyatt didn't show last week because he's scared of the Miz and Morrison.
Now, how did they think that was going to work out?
What's
like, kayfabe, let's imagine you are the Miz as a character.
Mm-hmm.
You walk out there, and you decide to bring Bray Wyatt up.
Yeah. Poke the lion.
Yeah, the one who put the creepy doll in your baby's,
he even
Brought
talked about
that up.
that. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, it was okay. This whole thing was okay, but
he was reminding us he had the Money in the Bank thing, and
Morrison was the money of this whole thing.
yeah,
He was the funny part. He's been the savior of all this stuff.
yeah.
Because he's just clever, and the Miz is good.
He draws
too.
the eye too.
Yeah.
Which is, if you're Drew McIntyre and the Miz and John Morrison, it says something that John Morrison's usually the one you're looking at.
Correct. When he's only doing little quibs.
Yeah.
And he's the Miz's hype man.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you. Unless Drew is by himself, I never really think he owns the stage.
No, I don't either.
Which is
Crazy.
because
he's just not.
Optically he cuts quite the presence.
Yeah.
I mean, he's immense.
It goes to show you though that, and he's gotten way better, and I think he'll get there at some point. I think he'll command it because I don't think Roman had it for a long time.
Drew's older than Roman, bro.
I know, but as far as
this whole thing with Drew and Randy were,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
same class. I think.
If he ain't got it by now, he had a mic in his hand don't get me wrong. He is good on the stick. He just isn't those couple of guys that are better than that.
Pull.
But I'm just saying, when he was in TNA, he got the mic. He got the stick every night.
Yeah.
When he was in NXT, he got the stick every night. No, he's on TV 4 hours a week now.
Yeah.
He's got the stick in his hand for 30 minutes. He's good.
But he
ain't great.
No, not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
Get there when he retires.
I give everybody credit.
Yeah, okay. 6-woman tag match. Lana, Shayna Baszler,
And Nia Jax versus
Dana, Mandy, and Asuka.
yeah. So apparently they had to, for some reason they couldn't just say Mandy got injured last week. They had to bring her out here and re-injure her so that she could be injured.
Thing was, I saw her get hurt last week.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do this.
There was no purpose to this other than.
Now things are going well for the heel faction until Lana gets involved and gets the pin. Am I correct on that?
She goes in there, she tags herself in, goes after
Correct.
Asuka.
Shayna's got it. Won.
Yeah.
Shayna's got it won, and she tags herself in, right?
Yeah, and loses the match.
And then we get week 9.
Yeah. I am going to say, if their goal is to make me feel sympathetic to Lana, you did not achieve it.
Really?
Not really.
You're not tired of her going through tables?
I'm tired of her going through tables, but not because I feel bad for her, really. I mean, I feel bad because she's probably going through tables because Miro's on AEW, but I feel ambivalent at best because she cost him the match.
So therefore, my God, she must go down hard.
Well,
Through
they
the
gave her
table.
clear instructions.
Just stay out.
Stay out of this. will win the match.
Right.
And if she just stayed out of it,
they would have won the match. Right.
So,
and so
this
now,
one's on her.
Now we have two problems. The person they're trying to get rid of won't quit.
Yes.
And the person they weren't necessarily trying to get rid of, they've managed to injure.
Uh-huh.
And now they got to replace both parties.
Yeah. Well, they had the other one got injured by Mia Reckoning. Whatever you want to call her, in the back. I guess they had to because they were a tag team, they weren't going to have one in there.
Right.
So she had to come out of nowhere and just attack her. They're just going to use Retribution when they need, like, we need something to happen. Here, just Retribution will attack them. It doesn't matter.
Dude,
none of this matters.
And they'll let the best thing Retribution did all week was they let them have the Twitter feed for WWE for like an hour.
Yes.
On Tuesday or something.
Wow.
Yeah. Raw Men's Tag Team is arguing amongst each other. Braun, Keith, Riddle, Sheamus. AJ is not our leader. This was funny. I mean, they're doing all right here.
I mean, for what they're working with, yeah.
They had a tune-up against Retribution to come. And Riddle seems to have struck up a friendship with the associate. And he figured out that the associate could speak prior to AJ figuring that out.
Yeah.
Which was an interesting twist.
That was hilarious.
To all of this. Yeah. Because I could totally see Riddle talking to just about anybody that walks past him.
Yeah.
And I could totally see AJ just assuming this huge person doesn't speak for no reason.
Doesn't speak English.
Yes. Dana gets jumped by Mia Yim to let us know that Retribution is really in the house. Firefly Funhouse. Miz isn't nice. All Hollywood stars are willing to sacrifice offsprings to appease their reptilian overlords.
I loved it. I loved that.
Wow, Bray.
David Icke there.
Wow, Bray.
Straight up reptilians.
Yes. V. Remember the show V?
Man, V was awesome. The original V. They did a remake. I didn't like it as much, but the original V was creepy and very good. Well done. Little mini-series.
What was that guy's name? The star of that show.
Who was in V? Was it Peter Weller?
Mark Singer?
Oh, it was Mark Singer.
He was like the hero guy.
Yeah, a.k.a. the Beastmaster.
Yes. He basically, if you've done V and the Beastmaster, retire. It's over.
Retire. You're the
king.
You've hit the pinnacle. Beastmaster was the best Masters of the Universe movie they ever did.
Correct. Anyway,
sorry, Dolph Lundgren.
The Miz and Bray will wind up fighting tonight, which is a good thing.
Oh, it's a good thing.
Then we get a workout montage from Bray Wyatt in which Rambling Rabbit dies. And a puppet says both damn and jackass. Mm-hmm. And I love it when puppets cuss.
It's always funny.
You can't beat it. You can't beat it. The Hurt Business. New Day versus the Hurt Business. Little dueling promos here. These have been good. Kofi and Woods have been good on the stick here. And as we know, MVP's the guy. Kofi and Woods versus Sheldon and Cedric. We get
Shelton. You called him Shelton.
I did. It's Sheldon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get into this match, and I thought it was good stuff. I liked an aspect of it where Cedric kind of did some mat wrestling, which we don't see him do much.
No.
He and Kofi he and Woods had some spin around stuff right there.
Oh yeah, it was very.
He mixed in a little strong style.
Uh-huh.
Which was cool, I thought.
I thought this match was exceptional.
It really was.
For the little bits we got to see of it with the commercial breakout in the middle of it.
Yes. They did an LOD style finisher. The Hurt Business did. We got the kick out on 2, but I liked that.
I liked it too. It looked good.
And then, of course, Woods and Kofi wind up going over because they're not going to lose the belt right before.
Xavier hit a missile drop kick on Cedric that looked just vicious.
Xavier's been great since coming back. Everything Xavier and Kofi have done has been great. You know what I mean? They're just...
Energy. Everything they bring to the table.
It'll be interesting to see, too, sidebar, I guess, what happens with Big E, because obviously they've kept Big E out of the fray as we're going into...
Survivor Series.
Right, because you don't want to get him mixed. What are you going to put him in? Because he's going into something that matters as soon as this is all over, we assume. But I'm looking forward to that as well. Now, then after the finish there, where Kofi and him go over, we get Sheamus and Drew, and Sheamus is giving Drew a treasure chest with his granddad. It looks like his granddad's kilt and or Axl Rose's leather kilt as well from Live Aid, I believe, is where that was used.
It's either his Clan's tartan or Axl Rose's Live Aid outfit. Both are inspirational.
Correct. Now, He-Man's sword is there evidently as well, which is great.
You heard whose sword that was, didn't you?
It's Vince's sword.
Vince's sword.
Vince has like a dinosaur head in his office.
He has
as
a
well.
Tyrannosaurus Rex skull in his office. Yes.
That's legit too, right? It's supposed to be real.
I think that's legit.
Sometimes you can actually have more money than you know what to do with.
Yeah. I need a claymore. Somebody order me one.
Yeah, I mean, why not? But he let Drew borrow it for a little while there, which was nice of him.
And awesome if he just hit Randy with it.
It was over this segment. And again, we're going back to Sheamus and Drew eventually are going to have a problem with each other.
Yes. Just like Ireland and Scotland.
Inevitable. Correct. Two groups of people can't be that similar and not hate each other.
Yeah.
I made that up.
Yeah, no, you're correct though.
All right, man. All right. So here we go So then we get to the warm-up match for Team Raw, where they are going to wrestle Demolition and a member of the Ascension.
Yes. Wait, was it?
It was not, actually. That was Slapjack, Mace, Ali, and T-Bag.
That's T-Bar.
T-Bar.
Yeah. T-Bag's different.
Dijakovic.
Yes.
Okay, so we got Riddle, Sheamus, Braun, and Keith, and Riddle absorbs the beating early. Keith Lee comes in and runs roughshod over everybody. Team Raw has it figured out. They argue, and Ali pins Riddle on a roll-up.
What was it? Sheamus and Braun Strowman got into it, and then Ali pushed Riddle into Braun and got the roll-up on him.
Right. Now, Braun was mad. I think he didn't want Riddle to tag himself in anyway.
Probably something
like that. So that's why they were face-to-face, and then to push in and to cover up. And this is what happens to you when your ego gets out of control here.
Yeah.
This is life lessons they're teaching you on Monday night.
Yeah. That you've got to work, that no matter how strong the individual components are, if they don't work together, it's not a team.
Right. Band of the Hand.
Mm-hmm.
Another great movie.
Nice. Nice reference.
Or was it Shogun, where the elder tells him that 5 fingers, if they come when they come to,
I think that's Shogun. I think you're thinking.
Yeah, the 5 fingers, but when they come together, they're a fist. And
yes,
you can't attack us.
Yeah.
When they come to our land, they will be defeated because we'll come together. That kind of thing. Okay.
That or The Last Samurai. I can't remember.
Only 40 years difference between the two.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, Matt Hardy is mad. He's mad, and Matt
Hardy's mad. He's mad, all right, because he's stuck on this show. He thought he was on AEW.
You are correct, sir. I'm sorry. Okay, so Elias and Jeff are still
Matt
doing.
shows up in the parking lot from the head injury. Why am I here?
Why am I here? I don't understand. Okay, so Jeff's mad because of Elias thinking that he did. I thought we were done with this.
I thought we were too, but he's putting up flyers.
Yes, yeah. If you know who hit me, call 555 Amen.
Amen.
And so Jeff pins him against the wall and says, "I never meant to hurt you," or "I never actually hurt you," or whatever that was. Which I just let's move on from this too. I do think that we'll get there. We'll get there. Now Nikki wants Alexa to quit being with the Fiend, and that's not gonna work.
No, and they get into a scrap.
They will. That's coming. I think Nikki just said that to a reporter backstage is what we were referencing.
Oh,
there.
that one.
Now, Miz and Morrison promo. Miz is calling to forgive and forget, Bray. It's okay. You abducted my child. I said some bad things. We'll call it even.
Yeah, no, you broke into my house.
Yeah.
And planted a creepy demon doll with my child.
Mm-hmm. Almost abducted my child.
Almost abducted my child.
Right. And I said some bad things, so maybe we'll call it. Alexa replies no.
No.
And that is when Nikki decides that she's going to talk some sense into Alexa, which turns into fisticuffs because Alexa replies no to her as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I think Nikki slaps her. Does Nikki slap her or does she slap Nikki?
She slaps Nikki.
Yeah.
And then once they get separated, Bray comes out. And as mad as Alexa seemed the moment before Bray came out, she immediately became elated when she saw Bray, and then they were so happy together.
Did you see the look that Bray cut Nikki, though, when he first came out there? It was solid, dude.
He's so good at the little things.
It was such a death stare, dude.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And then as soon as, you're right, though, as soon as they saw each other, it was...
Happy, happy, joy, joy.
Yes.
Like Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
So good, yeah. Now, then we get this match.
I thought Miz might have a chance because it was Bray and not The Fiend, but that was not.
But the Miz did, Bray was doing really well, and then we have this moment where a couple of different times Morrison helped him.
Yeah.
Morrison helps him one last time there when Bray's going for it, and Alexa's had enough, and she runs and dives on Morrison and takes them both out.
Oh yeah, there was a scene before that earlier when
oh, it was perfect.
When
right.
Morrison was beside the ring, he'd stepped. I think he picked the foot or something like that, and Bray turned around and looked at him.
Cut him that same look that he cut Nikki earlier.
Yeah, and he was backing up, and then all of a sudden, in the rigging of the ring corner rope, Alexa sticks her face and is grinning at him, and John jumps back and was scared,
which was perfect too because John's good at the little things too.
Yeah.
So he gives you that I'm terrified of Bray look, and then I'm stunned at her being right there in my face, which was great. And then you set up the fact that she goes spider monkey on him.
Oh, just kills him.
And he manages to flip over the back wall with her, which I thought was great. And Bray shows this. We haven't seen this, right? We wondered what was the dynamic there.
He was worried.
He was very worried. And so the Miz, and this is when I think, which you probably thought, that for sure, this is where the Miz wins the match.
Yeah.
And he does the move where he jumps through the ropes and in the ring corner and gives him the elbow, and he's going to throw him down, and we're going to get the pin, but that does not happen.
No, he hooks him when he goes for that jump through clothesline of his. He hooks him for the Sister Abigail, hooks him with
the look that Bray cuts him.
Yes.
Because he needs to get over there to attend to what's important, which is Alexa. So he's got to finish.
I think he yells, "Don't you touch her," a couple of times.
Yes, and he puts the Miz away quick with his Sister Abigail, and then she pops up, happy as a lark, and he crawls out of the ring and waits for her, and she tight ropes around the barricade, which I'm fairly certain she's a former gymnast.
Okay.
And I thought she did a very good job of making it look more complicated than it was for her to walk on that barricade. Yes. You know what I mean? Because she was like, "Oh, I might fall," but she wasn't going to fall.
No.
It was, it was so well. I thought this whole segment I loved.
And then they're walking up the ramp together, all happy-go-lucky, and the Fiend music hits, and the Fiend's face appears, and they just shut down again.
Yes, yeah, because they're scared.
Yeah,
which is the whole dynamic. Every bit of it was so good, right? Now, I don't know if you've ever done this, but Angel Garza explains to us the relationship of thorns to the petals of a rose. And I feel like that needed to be done.
I mean, since Poison, I think somebody else needed to take up the mantle.
Right. Because every rose has its thorn, right?
Yes.
Every night has its dawn, I believe.
Every cowboy sings sad
song. Every rose
has
its thorn. Thank you, Bret Michaels. You may know him as
the most terrifying thing I've ever seen, the Crypt Keeper.
No. No, what was that stupid reality show he had?
Rock of Love?
The Rock of Love.
Yes.
Man, that was great.
Yeah, it was.
Let's get a TV show where I can make out with girls.
I wrote this.
Half my age.
Yes.
Good for you, Brett Michaels.
I got no
wherever
hate.
you are.
I got no hate.
Right. So basically, the Thorns protect the Rose, which is what Angel will be willing to do for whomever, which is why I need Angel to be anything with Nia Jax,
Yes.
and Nia Jax be protecting him
all the time
as he wins the title. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And then she just walks around slamming guys that want to mess with him.
Yes.
I love it. That's what. You're welcome, WWE. Do that quickly. Okay, so going back to Nia and Shayna they're funny together, and they're talking and arguing over who's more important. They find out that Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce are going to be their partners, and Lacey and Peyton are clever as well. I couldn't help but think, I wish they would have done this right out the chute.
Yeah.
And I could have got 2 weeks of Peyton Royce being funny, countering the arguments that these other two are having. It would have been so much better than babyface. We're trying to figure out who Lana is.
Yeah. And Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, who at this point, no offense to them, are just super generic.
Well, one problem I have with Dana is I like Dana, and she is talented, but pro wrestling for women to me has gotten past I'm doing my gymnastics move in the ring, and that's still kind of her go-to. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you need to widen up what you're doing now, because to me there's no difference now between women's wrestling and men's wrestling.
No.
The only difference is a lot of times the women's storylines are better and they have better matches.
Yeah.
That's the only difference to me right now. They're just fantastic. You know what I mean? And the men are taller.
Yeah.
You know. But so to have somebody out there doing things that, oh wow, that was things that would have fit in the Attitude Era doesn't.
No, you got to be able to go.
Correct. Especially in WWE right now. And
but
I just wish it would have been Peyton right out the
Lacey
chute.
I thought that was better mixed.
But let's move on to something great, because Drew comes out in full Highlander garb with the sword.
Yeah.
There can only be one.
Yeah, he should cut Randy's head off.
If he would have cut Randy's head off right there, how great
be
would that
only
have been?
one Highlander.
Yes. Oh, that would have been so good.
Kurgan.
But instead, we get a fantastic wrestling
What a match, Derek.
And I have been critical of, it's funny how these things go, because these storylines can drag on forever sometimes.
Yes.
And I think maybe that's part of the problem, is that at some point we've decided that we get to evaluate how long these things go, which is great, but it turns into more than that. But the matches these guys have had have been great. The Hell in a Cell match was great. This match was great. The one before was great. They told a great story. Drew takes a beating the whole first part of this thing, and it really looks like, okay, Randy has just elevated his game to the point where there's nothing
Drew can do with it.
Even when Drew gets the tide turned in his direction, it doesn't really matter. Randy still flips the script.
Goes for the Claymore, eats the power slam.
Until finally he hits the Claymore. Now let me get this straight if I remember correctly. He does. So we wind up with a finish in which Orton gets the power slam. He gets Drew on top of and he tried to put Drew through the table but couldn't.
Yeah.
He winds up DDTing him from the table onto the concrete or onto the mat, and then gets him into the ring. Does the second rope DDT as well. Then he goes for the RKO. He gets pushed into the rope. He comes back and gets Claymored, and it's a nice clean 1, 2, 3. And it was just really great.
It was a great wrestling match.
Do you want to hear what I had a problem with?
Before I hear that, I do want to point out one thing, because you just noted it. I think Nia Jax does deserve some credit for most consecutive breaks of the announce table without having a failure.
She is literally the only person on Raw that can get somebody through a table.
Yeah. And she's done it 9 times in a row.
And that girl's like 80 pounds she's put through a table.
Every time. Every time she's perfect. It splits.
Drew's 250. 260. Can't go through the thing.
Can't go through a table.
I'm telling you, there is a guy backstage that puts those tables together, and he just laughs because he's using He's doing it one way for Nia. And then he's set it up the same way now. We got a championship match. Okay. And then he's using like the extra long screws.
Randy crapped in his bag one time or something, or somebody did something to that guy.
Something. Right.
He's picked on.
Here's my problem.
Tell me.
I think that match was close to 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. Drew got his butt whooped the whole time. Mm-hmm. His head, without anything in the way, hit some form of ground 3 times in about 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem with the Claymore win and the cover. But he comes up smiling.
Yeah.
And within 45 seconds, he's standing on the top rope, holding the belt in the air, and then he walks out talking smack to Roman. Mm-hmm. Bro, at least sell like that thing hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Come on, man. He should have rolled over in relief and smiled and maybe said something like, I'm coming, Roman. But not the climbing up to the top rope, holding up.
No.
Allow me disbelieve. Allow me to believe that this just happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It makes you look cooler than that. It looks so much cooler to
The point of this whole match was you struggled through this. You should be still struggling. That was you, right?
Right. I agree.
It drove me crazy. Because I was like wanting to stand up in my living room and applaud when he hit that Claymore.
Yeah. And
then he rolls over like fresh as a daisy.
Yeah.
Tombstone.
Yeah. Do you know who he's probably got that from?
Who?
Sean says, as soon as you hit him with it, get up and go get in that corner. Don't even act like
HBK.
Yeah, HBK's sitting over there going, dude, don't sell for any of it.
And that's a shoot.
That's the truth.
All right, it's SmackDown time, guys. Street Profits are laying it down backstage, talking smack, and then all of a sudden we get an Undertaker's coming. Nope, it's actually Big E. And
that was Los Undertakers.
It actually was. And we have a mutual respect thing along with Big E doing the smack talking here. I like this because we get the announcement that the New Day is actually here. Then we cut to the ring or the runway, and the New Day are walking their way to the ring to let us know that they are here for the Fist Through the Glass and SmackDown Hotel, which I thought were great callbacks.
Yeah, considering they haven't been there how long?
It's been forever.
It's only
12, 14 days.
12, 14 days.
Yeah. Now the Profits then do a Taker tribute in the middle of the ring first, and then the Profits come down, right?
No, and
then Sammy comes out.
And
first. Everything gets better because the Great Liberator lets you know that Taker is retiring because Sammy
got that receipt for him.
Owes him one. The Great Liberator goes on to explain he's going to rough up the U.S. and corporate champion Bobby Lashley because that's who they want the belt on.
Yeah. The
guy who looks good in the suit.
Yeah.
Right? And dude, he was so... And he let you know he's going to put the whooping on Bobby, which we can all see it coming.
I see that coming. Squash match.
And then the New Day struggle to find things that they can say productive about Sammy. And then Corbin, of course, comes out in his defense. And that I thought all of this was good. Rude and Dolph coming out, I felt like was
Rudolph.
Good. And then them pointing out that the New Day had just left and why are they doing already back here?
Yeah,
was what everybody was thinking anyway.
Yeah,
and I do like it when WWE manages to at least notice its own whatever it's doing.
Foibles.
Right. And then the Profits come down, and we wind up, of course, instead of having what they're leading us to believe Dolph and Rude are going to fight Corbin and Sammy, which is not going to happen.
Not going to happen because they're all bad guys. And
but
bad guys
dude, Sammy was so good through this whole segment.
Oh, he's perfect.
And through the whole match and through the segment after the match. Now, we wind up getting an 8-man tag match where the heels versus the faces. The faces who will be facing each other actually in competition on Sunday night. And we do get a little bit of
friction.
A little friction and a lot of anything you can do, I can do better.
And a couple missteps where they hit each other.
Correct. And this turns out where eventually Dawkins is tagged in and Rude gets a spine buster on him and crawls to El Generico, the formerly known as El Generico, Sami Zayn.
What?
And
El Generico's identity is a mystery. Who
has been avoiding any amount of contact this whole time, hasn't been tagged in, gets in, Dawkins hits, slams him. We get the Montez Ford dropping out of the ceiling moment. We get the 1-2-3 pin win over Sami, and we're set up. And I thought this was pretty good, and I thought it was even better when they go to Daniel Bryan backstage with Kayla, going to do an interview, and Sami is chasing the referee, letting him know he had never touched the tag team rope that you have to have in your hand in order to be tagged in.
He's correct.
The pinfall win should be thrown out because Sami should never have been in the ring to begin with. It wasn't fair. And I'm with Sami. I don't know why we have rules if we're not going to follow them.
I agree with Sami completely.
And Daniel Bryan's laughing at him and covers his mouth because he believes in social distancing whenever possible, which is why he shoves Sami away.
I thought he just believed Canadians were infectious.
Both.
Oh.
But I would guess that Daniel Bryan likes Canadians just fine.
Yes.
He may be Canadian at heart.
Yeah, he's closet Canadian. I want to go back to one line from the initial Street Profits Big E thing right at the beginning, where the Street Profits promised they would hit Kofi so hard he'd get his Jamaican accent back. And Big E's like, starts screaming, he'll never go back. I was dying.
Yeah, I thought that it was not a whole lot of wrestling. It was some pretty good wrestling, but
you had 8 men. You got a lot of.
Yeah, the first segment was good.
Yeah,
considering it, they managed to somehow go from Big E and the Street Profits all the way to Sami slapping DB in like one fell swoop.
One move.
You involve 10 people, and it's all fairly good, right?
Like DB's new haircut.
Yes, the almost mohawk.
Yeah,
it's a little wider than a mohawk.
It's kind of greaser, kind of like rockabilly look to him.
Yeah, he's no longer at your coffee shop playing guitar.
He's not a singer-songwriter anymore.
Yes. Adam Pearce is now going to appoint Otis to Team SmackDown.
Because he's gotten his Alpha Academy education.
Correct.
Have you seen the flyer? I want an Alpha Academy shirt. I'm pretty sure it's a dude like bulldogging an eagle. Or something close to it. It looks great.
Right. It was good. Now, Natty's furious because she believes she should have been appointed as well. And first of all, she's
the
boat, which is wonderful that she thinks that's good.
Has there ever been a person stuck with worse crud than Natty throughout the years?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Not at all.
Not consistently.
And is beloved by the fans.
Yes.
Because probably to some degree because she's just constantly in crap.
Yeah.
Okay, so here Bayley gets appointed, and she's going to have to fight her way onto the team, which is fine. And we're because I like watching her wrestle. Mm-hmm. Seth winds up giving a promo by himself, where he mentions
all by himself.
Yes, and
which is kind of if you look at his whole character arc leading up to this, it's kind of like, I started out and I had like 3-4 guys with me. Yeah,
he had the Acolyte, the AP,
Authors of Pain,
AOP, Murder. Buddy. Then he had
the
Theory, Austin Theory.
He had the Ref,
and then that gets back down to where now it's just me. And he's, I plucked you from obscurity. Everything you got because you were with me. And when I'm done with you, you will be back to where you were when we started, which is nothing and nobody. And I thought he did well here. And like you said, it does kind of fit the character arc for him to be standing in the abyss, screaming at everybody how it's their fault.
Yeah, he's ended up here by himself.
Right. And then accusing them of being by themselves.
Yes.
When in reality, they're surrounded by friends that they've achieved by getting away from him.
Yes.
Right? Bianca Belair is on commentary, and Bayley comes down to help out as well. We get a quick match where Tamina versus Natty for this 4th spot, maybe 5th spot.
Yeah.
And then Natty winds up getting her into sharpshooter fairly quickly and the win. And then we have Bianca, Bayley, Natty, Riot Squad, Ruby Riot, and Liv Morgan all together in the ring, and they don't agree that Bayley's the leader of the pack. However, they aren't doing it in the same manner as Raw's doing it with AJ.
Yeah.
It's more of a whatever.
Yeah.
You know? And I thought this was good, and I almost wish they would have figured out that this was going to be their team before, because I think this could be fun interaction.
There was a lot of fun interaction they could have done here.
Mm-hmm. Right, but we're not going to do that because that would be fun. Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns in a contract signing. Drew's was good. His speaking here was good. Roman sitting at the head of the table
Was so good.
That little detail right there.
It was tight.
The detail where he says, "I'll tell you something Paul told me a long time ago. You're the right guy in the right place at the wrong time."
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was great. And then, of course, Drew retorts, "And I know what you're trying to do. You want me to punch you or attack you, or you want to be inside of my head. Just sign the deal. I recommend you underestimate me.
Mm-hmm.
Use the last 2 days of peace to prepare for war," he says. Roman is not impressed by that, as he says, dude, Roman killed it right here. Did he kill it right here?
Oh, it was awesome. It was perfect.
"One day you will cherish these moments with me. One day you will look in the mirror and see the man you always wanted to be, and you will love me for it. I will love you too."
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Drew, you will always be my favorite number 2.
Oh my god, dude. Just
Number 2.
shank right across the neck, dude.
Right. I had some granola earlier today, so I'm thinking about my favorite number 2 pretty soon as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, just laid him out, dude.
And then as Drew, the kicker, and to me the best part of it was when Drew begins to, he slowly stands up.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't grab his belt and run away. He doesn't grab his belt and walk away looking at Drew.
Mm-mm.
He has Paul get his belt for him.
Yeah.
He slowly puts the belt over his shoulder. And then as Drew begins to stand quickly, because Drew wants to go nose to nose here, he turns his back on Drew and slowly walks away.
Yeah.
If you want to jump me, fine. I'm not intimidated by you in the least. As a matter of fact, everything I'm doing is to let you know how non-important you are to me.
Exactly.
And it was so spot on.
Perfect.
Every detail.
Never turned around and looked at him the whole time he walked out.
No, because he doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Nothing matters but me.
Yeah.
And he continues to let us know that.
That ring mattered because I was in it. Now I'm not in it no more. It doesn't matter anymore.
Correct. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
The spotlight follows me. The WWE, it's mine.
Mm-hmm.
He is so hitting it out of the park right now.
It's perfect.
Oh my God. Okay, Messiah, speaking of hitting it out of the park, man.
Oh
Messiah
God.
versus Buddy with Aliyah and family here. And I thought this was amazing.
Great match, dude.
I thought, and you know, I said a couple weeks ago, Seth needs to lose out.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the right thing for the character. Here you have Seth, he's got things going his way. He's going to grab the kendo stick because he doesn't care if he gets disqualified. Mysterio comes and grabs the kendo stick from him. Seth could have gone immediately back into the ring and attacked Buddy while he was down.
Mm-hmm.
And probably, in theory, put this thing away, right?
Yeah.
Instead, he chooses to turn and punch Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Then he chooses to fight
Dominic.
He again gets things going his way, throws Buddy out of the ring. Well, actually, Buddy tries to climb. Buddy managed to turn himself into a lawn dart.
Wow, did he fly off that thing? I thought he was going to die.
Well, before that, remember, they're fighting, and he's on the ring apron.
Yes.
And Seth's going to throw him at the barricade, but obviously Seth's not strong enough to throw him that far. So they stay on the apron so he can push off and lawn dart himself from
He
the
just
apron to
slings
the
it.
thing.
Yeah.
And then he gets up on the top of the turnbuckle on the other side, and Seth pushes him, and he launches himself into that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then Seth goes to attack, and Aliyah, she did a really good job of slipping down. Because as he turns to her, because she's like, don't hurt him. And as he turns to her, again, he shouldn't have done that. He's allowing his inability to focus
To get the best of him.
because he is a man alone screaming at nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody's out to get me. And so when he turns to her, when she slips, she has that damsel in distress. Perfect way to go to commercial.
Yeah.
We come back and we get a whole nother match in which is great. The back and forth. You get the Seth superplex into the Falcon Arrow, which is classic for him. He's got Buddy on the ropes. Buddy has his moments. Buddy's a fantastic. These guys are great together.
Oh, dude, they're spectacular.
Seth hits the stomp as Buddy's coming through the ropes.
That looked great. I don't think I'd seen him do that before. Hit him over the draped stomp like that.
It was so good. It was so good. And then
you
knew
it was over with.
You knew it was over, but he was close enough to the ropes to get his foot on the rope. And then he manages to swing the tide as Seth goes for another stomp. He gets a knee to the face. He goes for something else. He gets another knee to the face.
Buddy Murphy, little homage to Kenny Omega. Hit him with 2 3 V-triggers right there.
Right. And then which his are great as well.
Oh, dude.
And then he gets the Murphy's Law and the pin here. And I thought this was so perfectly well done. And as much as I want to say this feud went on a little too long, I kind of get it. First of all, Seth's leaving.
Yeah.
So putting him into anything else that makes sense.
Yeah.
Having him, it may have been a coincidence, but having Ray go over him on the night that Eddie, you did this whole program that was kind of an homage to Eddie in some ways, strangely enough.
Yeah, strangely enough.
And then you have him go over right there. You have Seth has kind of, through losing, which is the way wrestling should work, through losing, Rey Mysterio has got his steam back. There were whispers before this feud. He's getting a little old. Maybe he ought to. No, that dude looked great every time he got in the ring.
Every time.
Dominic, if he doesn't wind up being something, that's on Dominic because he's in a good spot right now.
Yeah.
And Buddy is ready to rock too because he just went over big time.
Yeah.
And so it's perfect, right? Then all he's got to do is go in here Sunday night, take the pin, and leave for a while. Come back pissed off. It's perfect. I thought it was really well done. You?
I loved it. I thought it was spectacular. I'm a Buddy Murphy mark.
How can you not be?
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Now we get Sasha and Asuka face off here, which was fine enough, and then we get.
Did Asuka? Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Asuka go? You don't. Did she do the Road Dog? I'm pretty sure she did the.
You didn't. Oh, you didn't know.
Oh, you didn't know? You better call somebody.
I didn't pick up on that.
She did too. She did that, and she did the "You Can't See Me."
She did do the "You Can't See Me" for sure. That's great. I didn't pick up on the first one. Now, Sasha gets jumped by Carmella.
And Asuka just stands there.
Right. I thought that was cool. Because that's not her problem.
It's not my problem.
At all.
You invited me over here to yell in my face.
Absolutely.
Tell me how you're going to whoop my ass.
I thought all that was well done to set up. And it sucks because now you kind of like, oh, Carmella's going to cost Sasha the match with Asuka and we're not going to get the banger that we deserve.
I don't know. Maybe, but I hope not.
Hopefully she jumps her after the match.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
But I want them to give them 20 minutes and let them kill it.
Let them kill it.
They're great.
This is gonna be. It's my an early pick for match of the night probably.
Right, but it may not be match of the week.
Yeah.
Or even women's match of the week, because that doggone Io Shirai versus Rhea Ripley was amazing. We'll talk about that on the other pod. But okay, so then we move into DB versus Jay. And this is great, too. I mean, just really great wrestling.
Jay has so elevated his game in the last few months as far as what he's able to put on the screen, as far as emotionally, as far as, really getting me into the match, get me into the characters.
All those things that Roman and Seth have been good at lately, the talking during the match, Jay is great at that. I love the fact that Jay as a heel has not been forced to go cowardly, which tells me they're planning on switching him someday.
Oh yeah.
But the Usos, when they were heels, they never ran from anybody either.
No.
That whole Uso penitentiary thing, that was never a cowardly thing ever, right? And Jay's been allowed to continue that, which is great because you and I both hate it when.
Excuse me.
Gesundheit.
Thank you.
You and I both hate it when I'll run through a brick wall on Monday, and then the next Monday I'm afraid of my own shadow.
Yeah, I'm afraid
because I'm a heel now, right?
Because I'm a bad guy. I'm afraid of everybody.
Right. This was fantastic, and Daniel is so great.
Oh, dude, he was spectacular.
And Daniel gets a roll-up win here. I was a little confused by that. I see where, okay, Jay and Daniel will probably get into a program with each other as soon as Survivor Series is over.
Yeah.
Daniel wins that program, which means the fight for the soul of pro wrestling between Roman and Daniel's coming.
Yeah.
And wow.
Oh, that'll be great.
Right, we've got, that gets us 3 months. You know, that probably gets us to the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And just the greatness in wrestling we're going to get, along with the storytelling we're going to, because Daniel Bryan's as good as anybody at telling stories.
Oh, man, yeah.
And Roman right now is on another level, too. And like you said, Jay is just a revelation of how good he could be.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see a limit. He's smaller, so you can't help but kind of root for him, but he's so physical in everything he does. All of his moves are impactful.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the term, I guess, Rough Rider would make sense. That probably sounded terrible saying that. I apologize.
It was awful, but it's good.
I apologize. But I cannot wait for what's going on. You liked it all.
I did.
Okay, a great week?
Yeah. I mean, the SmackDown especially.
Yeah.
Raw had some weak points.
Now, Raw versus SmackDown, men's 4-on-4, who do you think goes over?
Oh, I think I'm going to go... Man, Raw should win. I'm going to go...
Seth takes the pin.
SmackDown. I'm going to go...
SmackDown loses because Seth takes the pin. And they've been telling us a story about how Raw's too dysfunctional.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, I agree with you. That's where I was going to go.
But they're just going so overboard with their too dysfunctional.
Uh-huh.
Seth has to take the pin anyway.
Yeah.
Because Seth has to take the pin partially because that's going to give... My guess is... Okay, fantasy book.
Mm-hmm.
Seth takes his pin, and then he goes one more week. And on Friday,
so he got some
Roman says, Jay, make him understand too.
Uh-huh.
And he gets humiliated by Jay, and then he leaves.
That'd be great.
You know what I mean? Which gives you a couple different directions for when he comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then you okay, we got the women's. Who do you think?
I'm gonna go with Raw on that one.
I think you're right. I think Shayna and Nia.
I think Lana gets the win.
Lana gets the pin win somehow or another.
Lana ends up winning this match.
Right. Okay. I like that. I like that too. And then goes through a table any damn way.
And then puts her through the table. It's just 10 because it's 9.
You can't end on 9.
Can't end on 9.
Right. Okay. Asuka, Sasha.
Oh man, I almost feel like because of Sasha's story arc, they kind of got to give her a win here. If she does lose, I think it's with outside shenanigans like Carmella interfering.
Right. 50-50 booking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right here. Tag team. Street Profits and
New Day. I think, man, Street Profits of the young, the new. I think they're gonna put the Street Profits over.
Okay, I like it. Roman and Brett and Drew.
Roman.
Yeah. Roman can't eat a pin right now.
No, doesn't need to.
Even if there's some shenanigans or whatever, which I hope there aren't.
No.
Roman can't eat a pin right now. He's got to win because he has to be the head of the table.
Exactly.
And Drew can give him a great match and still lose him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then for my man Justin, from me KP, this has been a Go Home Heat production, copyright 2020. Go home.
Woo.